Hello. Today we would like to present our project proposal. We're going to be talking about the topic we want to tackle, our game idea, and what we want this game to do in terms of impacting players who are playing it. So the topic we decided to go for is the smartphone addiction. We all have smartphones. We use them every day. They're very beneficial to all of us because, we have access to interacting with our friends, our family, online education, and also keeping up to date with news, trends, and other sources of entertainment. However, over the past couple decades, people have been increasingly addicted to using smartphones without realizing the negative effects that it has on mental health and physical health. What ends up happening is that people who overly interact with their smartphones are vulnerable to suffering from things like depression, social anxiety. People may become more lazy, deal with fatigue a lot frequently, have a shorter attention span, and may lack discipline. Overexposure to social media can cause users to naturally compare their lives to their peers, to their friends, and to other influencers, and may distract themselves from focusing on themselves or on the task at hand. Many phone users also fall victim of wasting valuable time and energy by constantly scrolling through their phones for an overly unnecessary amount of time. I feel like this is something that we all fall guilty of doing. Sometimes we might end up wasting time we could use to do something more productive with ourselves. So our game idea is a sort of like a life management tool that shows players that focusing on yourself and your own health can help feel fulfillment within yourself, that in turn can help you feel more happy about your life. People can learn the value of certain health benefits by creating a lifestyle that puts focus on their physical health, their social life, their academics, or their career, and even having a balance of all three, which I feel is very important. It's meant to also be a coping mechanism and also an educational tool for those who are willing to have a better lifestyle. The player will be spending in-game days completing tasks, which is something that's similar to Stardew Valley. One in-game day might be 15 to 20 minutes. It tests players on how long they can stay focused without physically picking up and browsing through their phone. And these in-game days will let the player attend simulated classes that teach topics such as math, science, history, geography, language, and arts. Classes are designed to test the player's attention span and ability to memorize material. One catch in this game is that there's no pausing in-game, so there's still like a pause menu. You can still access like settings, but you don't necessarily pause the in-game timer. But the player can only save and quit, as well as taking short breaks if needed at the end of each in-game day. This is designed to not let players be distracted by other things surrounding them as they're playing this game, which we're going to talk about later. There are 3 different resources that the player will manage: character happiness, stress levels, and their energy levels. So the character happiness, this is dependent on the player's lifestyle choices in-game that affect the player's physical health, social life, and their academics or their career. For the stress level, you interact with the stress levels as you take on these tasks that force the player to spend energy, depending on how stressful this task is, but that's also dependent on the player's lifestyle, which I will give an example later in the presentation. The energy level is what's actually used to perform the tasks, and the base energy level and recovery is dependent on the character's happiness level. So low happiness might decrease the recovery speed of your energy. High level of happiness might let your player recover faster. And by improving the 3 attributes of the avatar's life, the player will unlock new abilities and benefits to the respective aspect. However, putting the majority of your focus on one attribute and minimal focus on others will negatively affect the avatar's aspects of life related to said attribute. Negative effects may include vulnerability to low happiness and mental health problems, more energy to exert in tasks related to said aspect, added stress when completing these tasks, slower energy recovery rate, benefits temporarily unavailable to the player, and traumatic life experiences relating to the said aspect of the player's life. So here's an example of what the player's character might do and how it impacts their resources. So if the player's character focuses solely on their physical health, but disregards the academics, the character will expend a lot less energy for physical activities, but will have to expend more energy than normal for things like studying, attending class, taking tests, maintaining a solid attention span. So we designed a typical in-game day for our game loop. So first thing the player does is they wake up, they manage what they're going to do throughout the day using a slider system. Maybe the player will spend more time studying, maybe they'll hang out with friends, maybe they'll hit the gym, or just a combination of everything. It's really dependent on what the player wants to do. And the idea is to have the player decide how they want to plan their day accordingly. And we want to introduce this mechanic because we hope that this is something the player will develop a healthy habit for that they could apply in their own personal life. So the next thing the player does is they go to school. There's a scripted event path. This may involve attending classes and taking tests or being taught material. And on weekends, school could be replaced with 7 hours of extra available time for the player to take advantage of, which gives more balanced options for the player. The next thing is the post-school event. This is when the player goes back home, gets to pick whatever they want to do at night, whether it's gaming, whether it's to study, whether it's to go to bed early. As shown here, there are examples of what that might do to the player's happiness and stress levels. The player can choose how long they sleep. However, there are scripted events where if the player is experiencing high levels of stress, they might wake up at night, which would mean they would have less energy in the next morning. So in terms of our course material, we put a lot of emphasis on embodiment because the player is meant to play this without any sort of external distractions, meaning they cannot pick up their smartphone as they are playing this game. This allows the player to be immersed in the game world, the environment, the player's avatar, all that without even thinking about picking up their phones. This is meant to develop a habit of less phone use. And essentially, how the player manages the life of the avatar is very similar to how the player manages themselves in real life, only without the use of a smartphone for a significant amount of time. What's interesting is that the player might play this game similar to how the player thinks and operates in real life, meaning the player might witness positive and negative consequences that may or may not be relatable to real life. This is important because significant and subtle events in-game may impact the player's perspective on various topics in a way that may change the player's outlook on said topic. Therefore, the player may manage their own health better through the lessons taught in the game. This would teach the player how to better manage their own life if they're struggling with certain areas of their health. So overall, this game, we hope that it helps users conquer their smartphone addiction, teaches them the benefits of properly managing their health, and ingrain the idea of focusing on your own well-being. Hopefully, it would help give players a more positive outlook on life in every aspect as they apply to the things they learn in this game to their own. Hopefully, it will help players improve their overall lifestyle. It could be to teach players how to deal with mental illness in a healthier manner, and to also help players be more optimistic about their present and their future. So this is our project proposal. I hope you enjoyed hearing everything we have to say, and yeah, thank you.